Have you ever wondered why you can feel utterly exhausted, mentally and physically, yet still find yourself wide awake at 2 a.m.? Or why, despite eating less or exercising more, stubborn belly fat seems to hang on like it's protecting something? What if I told you that the missing link isn't just about stress or willpower, but about what you eat before bed? Now, most people are told to avoid eating at night altogether. And yes, eating a heavy, high-sugar meal right before sleep will absolutely disrupt your rest, digestion, and fat metabolism. But that doesn't mean every type of food is bad before bed. In fact, the right small meal or snack, rich in certain nutrients and timed correctly, can become one of your body's greatest tools for regulating sleep, calming cortisol, and even shrinking visceral belly fat. You see, your body isn't designed to run on pills, stimulants, sedatives. It's designed to heal itself, rhythmically, predictably, which means, and naturally, especially when you give it the right inputs. And sleep is where most of that healing happens. But for many older adults, deep sleep becomes more elusive with age. You may fall asleep but wake up multiple times a night. You might feel tired but wired, or you wake up groggy as if your brain never truly rested. That's not just getting older. It's a breakdown in one of the most delicate hormonal relationships in your body, the interplay between cortisol, melatonin, insulin, and neurotransmitters like GABA and serotonin. What's happening in your body is a communication error, often triggered by nutrient imbalances and poor timing of food intake. Melatonin pills aren't your only option, and they're often a temporary patch, not a fix. What your body really needs is support for its natural circadian rhythm, and that starts with how you nourish yourself in the evening. In this video, you're hungry, which you're going to learn why what you eat before bed can make or break your sleep. You'll understand the hormonal and neurological mechanisms involved in deep rest, which means, and you'll discover how specific nutrients like magnesium, tryptophan, and healthy fats can signal your body that it's safe to power down, recover, and even burn fat while you sleep. We'll also talk about the one type of food that blunts melatonin production, spikes cortisol at night, and quietly sabotages both your metabolism and your mood. By the end, you'll have 3 simple, science-backed habits you can apply tonight to start sleeping more deeply, waking up clearer, and balancing your body naturally, without gimmicks or drugs. If you care about sleeping deeper, healing faster, and aging with energy, make sure to watch until the end and subscribe so you don't miss the natural wisdom your body is craving. Let's begin with the real origin of melatonin, not in a supplement bottle, but in your own brain. Melatonin is often referred to as the sleep hormone. What many people don't realize is that your body doesn't store it in large amounts. You have to make it every single night. And to make melatonin, your brain depends on one very specific building block, an amino acid called tryptophan. Tryptophan is what's known as an essential amino acid, meaning your body can't make it on its own. You have to get it from food, most abundantly in protein-rich foods, like turkey eggs, wild-caught salmon, pumpkin seeds, and certain fermented dairy products. But just eating tryptophan isn't enough, which means, here's where it gets interesting. To cross the blood-brain barrier, the gatekeeper that separates your brain from the rest of your body, tryptophan needs help. It competes with other amino acids for transport into the brain, and it's only when insulin is present in small amounts that tryptophan gains a relative advantage. This is why eating a small, protein-based snack with a little health carbohydrate in the evening can actually support melatonin production naturally. The right combination gently stimulates insulin. Not enough to spike blood sugar, but enough to lower competing amino acids in the bloodstream, allowing more tryptophan to enter the brain. Once inside, your brain converts tryptophan into 5-HTP, then serotonin, and finally into melatonin. This is your body's natural biochemical cascade for falling asleep and staying asleep, and it depends not on supplements, but on timing, nutrient availability, and metabolic harmony. Unfortunately, many people, especially seniors, either skip dinner entirely, eat that too early, or consume meals that are too low in protein or too high in refined carbs. Others go to bed on a completely empty stomach, believing that's what's needed for fat loss or blood sugar control. But here's the paradox: without enough tryptophan and the right insulin balance at night, your brain may struggle to produce melatonin, your sleep may become fragmented, and your cortisol levels may stay elevated. This is particularly important as we age. After about age 50, your natural melatonin production begins to decline. But that doesn't mean you're deficient in melatonin itself. It may mean your conversion from tryptophan to melatonin is impaired. By supporting that natural chain with smart food choices in the evening, helping your body do what it's designed to do without pharmacological intervention. So what does this look like in practice? For many people, one of the most effective evening snacks is something like a boiled egg and a small portion of berries, spoonful of cottage cheese with a few pumpkin seeds, or even a slice of turkey wrapped in lettuce with avocado. These combinations offer a balance of protein, healthy fat, and just enough carbohydrate to allow that gentle insulin release. This also explains why some people notice they sleep better after having a small, warm meal in the evening, especially especially when it includes foods rich in natural fats and amino acids. Warm foods, in particular, signal safety to the nervous system. Think of how a warm soup or herbal tea feels in the evening. It cues the body to downshift, to relax. It's not just comfort, it's physiology. If this is helping you see health differently, tap the like button. It helps us reach more people who need this. One more key detailing: timing matters. You don't want to eat this snack right before you lie down. Ideally, aim for about 60 to 90 minutes before bed. This gives your digestive system to begin breaking down the meal, letting those amino acids and nutrients enter your bloodstream and begin the hormonal signaling cascade that leads to melatonin production. This small shift in your evening ritual, adding a tryptophan-rich snack with just the right metabolic balance, can lead to a noticeably deeper, more restorative sleep within a few days. And because sleep is when your body repairs, detoxifies, and balances hormones, the downstream benefits ripple into your energy, weight, mood, and inflammation levels. Remember, which means you don't need to fight your body. Subscribe if you're learning something new, because there's more natural healing wisdom to come. Your body runs on rhythm. Every hormone, every organ, and even your brain's electrical patterns follow predictable cycles, anchored by something called your circadian rhythm. And at the heart of this rhythm is a hormone that's been misunderstood for decades: cortisol. Cortisol often gets labeled the stress hormone. And while that's partially true, not the full story. Cortisol isn't your enemy. In fact, your body needs cortisol. It helps regulate your blood sugar, reduce inflammation, maintain alertness, and mobilize energy when you need it most. The problem isn't cortisol itself. It's when and how it shows up. Your cortisol levels are supposed to follow a beautiful wave-like pattern over a 24-hour cycle. Naturally, cortisol peaks in the early morning, around 6 to 8 a.m., helping you feel awake, alert, and motivated to move. Then, as the day goes on, cortisol gently tapers down, which by evening it should be low, allowing melatonin and GABA to rise and guide you into rest and recovery. But in today's world, this rhythm gets distorted, especially if you're eating late, watching bright screens at night, drinking caffeine too late in the day, or under chronic emotional stress. These signals tell your brain, falsely, it's still daytime. Your adrenal glands respond by keeping cortisol high, even when it's dark outside. And high evening cortisol is one of the biggest biological reasons people feel tired but wired at night. What's happening in your body is this elevated cortisol blocks melatonin. It also raises blood sugar, increases insulin, and keeps your nervous system in a fight or flight state. This not only interferes with falling asleep, it also prevents deep, restorative sleep stages, the very phases where fat burning, memory consolidation, and immune regeneration happen. This cortisol disruption becomes especially critical as we age. The older we get, the more sensitive we become to circadian misalignment. And for seniors, this often means difficulty falling asleep, early morning awakenings, and poor recovery from stress. But this isn't a permanent condition. It's a pattern, and patterns can be changed when you know what's causing them. One of the most powerful ways to reset your cortisol rhythm is by controlling your light and food cues in the evening. Brain has something called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a cluster of neurons in your hypothalamus that acts like your biological clock. It listens to cues from your environment, especially light. Blue light from screens, phones, or LED bulbs tells your brain it's noon, even if it's 10 p.m. That signal keeps cortisol elevated, delays melatonin release, and disrupts your sleep-wake cycle. To reverse this, start by dimming your lights about 90 minutes before bed. Turn off overhead LEDs and instead use warm, amber-colored lamps. Consider blue light-blocking glasses in the evening, especially if you're reading on a screen or watching a show. This simple shift signals your brain it's time to power down. Then there's food. Eating large, high-sugar meals late at night spikes insulin, which in turn spikes cortisol, especially in those who are insulin resistant. It's a hidden feedback loop. Your body interprets that blood sugar roller coaster as a form of internal stress. The adrenal glands respond with, you guessed it, more cortisol. So while you may feel sleepy, at first often wake up a few hours later feeling restless, anxious, or wide awake. Instead, if you eat in the evening, opt for a light, low-glycemic, nutrient-rich snack like the one we discussed earlier. This helps regulate blood sugar without triggering a stress response. If you're seeing yourself in this pattern, hit the like button. It lets us know we're helping connect the dots. Another helpful protocol is a caffeine curfew. Most people metabolize caffeine more slowly as they age. If you're consuming coffee, black tea, or even dark chocolate after 2 p.m., that caffeine can linger in your system well into the night, interfering with J and raising cortisol artificially. It's subtle, but consistent. Try a simple experiment, cut caffeine after lunch for a week, and observe how your sleep changes. Finally, movement and sunlight in the early part of the day help reset your cortisol peak. When you expose your eyes to natural morning light and move your body, even a short walk, it signals your brain to anchor your cortisol spike to the morning, where it belongs. This creates a cascade effect, helping cortisol taper off properly by evening. This is your body's natural design. Cortisol rises to energize you, then it falls to restore you. When we live in sync with that, sleep becomes effortless, healing becomes automatic, and fat Fat loss, especially around the midsection, starts to happen without extreme diets or intense exercise. You don't need to fight your hormones, just support their rhythm, and they'll take care of the rest. Subscribe if this is making sense. There's so much more natural wisdom coming your way. One of the most misunderstood factors behind poor sleep, especially the kind where you fall asleep fine but wake up suddenly at 2 or 3 a.m., is blood sugar instability. Many people associate blood sugar with diabetes or energy levels during the day, but your blood sugar plays a silent, critical role in what happens while you sleep, especially in the first half of the night when your brain enters deep repair mode. Here's what's happening inside your body. When you sleep, your body continues to burn energy, just at a slower and more restorative pace. Brain is particularly active during certain sleep stages, processing memories, detoxifying waste, and regulating hormones. And to do this, it needs a steady, low, and stable stream of glucose. But if your last meal of the day was too early, too small, or too high in refined carbohydrates, your blood sugar may crash in the middle of the night. When your brain senses that drop, it perceives it as a threat, almost like running out of fuel. So it signals your adrenal glands to release cortisol and adrenaline to bring blood sugar back up. And that's often the exact moment when you jolt with a racing heart, anxious thoughts, or just a sudden sense that something's not right. This isn't a psychological issue. It's a metabolic one. The good news is, it's also preventable. What your body is craving isn't medication, it's balance. It needs a small amount of slow, burning energy during the night to stay calm, nourished, and deeply asleep. And you can give it exactly that with a simple, strategic pre-bed ritual. Let's say you normally eat dinner around 6 p.m. and go to bed at 10:30 or 11. By then, you may have already fasted for 4 or 5 hours. And if that dinner was low in healthy fats or protein, your body may struggle to keep blood sugar stable overnight. One of the most effective solutions is a small, nutrient-dense evening snack, something that doesn't spike insulin but gives your body sustained fuel. Think a few slices of avocado with sea salt, a spoonful of almond butter, a hard-boiled egg, or a few walnuts paired with herbal tea. These foods are rich in healthy fats, minerals, and amino acids, exactly what your nervous system needs to feel safe enough to let go. There's also a strong connection here to GABA, one of your brain's most important calming neurotransmitters. When blood sugar crashes, GABA drops. But stable blood sugar helps GABA stay elevated, supporting sleep onset, deep sleep, and overall sleep architecture. In fact, several clinical studies have shown that even slight dips in glucose levels can lead to spikes in norepinephrine and cortisol, two hormones associated with alertness and stress. This physiological stress signal is one of the most common reasons people experience fragmented sleep, especially as they age. Now let's bring it back to belly fat, because here's where it all connects. Every time your cortisol rises at night to respond to a blood sugar drop, it tells your body to store fat, not burn it. Cortisol's job in a crisis is to preserve energy. That means shuttling glucose into your bloodstream and keeping fat locked away, especially around the abdomen. Over time, these nighttime cortisol spikes compound, raising your fasting glucose, increasing insulin resistance, and making belly fat more stubborn. This is why getting deeper, uninterrupted sleep isn't just about feeling rested, it's about metabolic healing. And the foundation of that healing is stable, nighttime blood sugar. If you're finding this helpful, give it a like. It tells the algorithm to show this wisdom to others who need it. A final tip here, if you're practicing intermittent fasting, which many of our viewers do, you don't have to stop, but you do need to listen to your body. If you're waking up the night feeling anxious in the early morning, or noticing elevated fasting glucose, consider adjusting your eating window so your last meal includes enough healthy fat and protein to carry you through the night. Remember, fasting is a tool, not a rule, which your body is always giving you feedback. And when you honor that, your healing accelerates. You don't need more willpower. You just need better rhythm. Subscribe if this is helping you connect your symptoms to their root causes, because there's more empowering guidance coming your way. At the end of a long day, your nervous system has only two paths it can take. It can stay in fight or flight, that alert, wired, reactive state that keeps your muscles tense and your thoughts racing. Or it can shift into rest and digest, the parasympathetic mode where healing, digestion, and sleep begin. This transition isn't automatic. It requires specific signals from your environment, your habits, and most importantly, your nutrition. And three of the most powerful natural signals come from magnesium, glycine, and GABA. Let's start with magnesium. This mineral isn't just important, it's essential for over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, including nervous system regulation, blood sugar control, muscle relaxation, and the production of calming neurotransmitters. Think of magnesium as nature's original anti-stress nutrient. Without it, your muscles stay tight, your heart rate stays elevated, and your brain struggles to shift cues into sleep mode. Magnesium levels tend to decline with age, both because of dietary insufficiency and because of lower absorption in the gut. And this becomes a real issue when it comes to sleep. If you're low in magnesium, you're more likely to experience nighttime muscle cramps, restlessness, light sleep, and early waking. Research shows that restoring magnesium can improve both sleep quality and duration, especially in older adults. Then there's glycine, a small but mighty amino acid that acts like a brake pedal for the nervous system. Glycine helps lower core body temperature, a natural part of your body's sleep initiation process. It also helps improve sleep depth and reduces the time it takes to enter REM and deep sleep phases. What's fascinating is that glycine works even in people who already sleep poorly. In a Japanese clinical study, participants who took glycine before bed reported feeling more refreshed and cognitively sharper the next morning, even if they were partially sleep deprived. That's because glycine helps support brain recovery. Even under stress, you can get glycine naturally from foods like collagen-rich bone broth, gelate turkey skin, and slow-cooked meats. That's one reason why warm, protein-based evening meals tend to promote sleep better than cold salads or sugary snacks. They don't just nourish, you could say they neurologically soothe. Now let's talk about GABA, short for gamma-aminobutyric acid. GABA is your brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, and it functions like your body's natural tranquilizer. When GABA levels are healthy, your mind quiets, your muscles soften, and your thoughts lose their edge. GABA tells your brain it's safe to rest now. But here's the catch: chronic stress, low magnesium, and high cortisol can all suppress GABA production. And when GABA is low, which means you don't just feel anxious, you feel stuck in overdrive. You may fall asleep, but your sleep won't be deep. You may wake up feeling more tired than when you went to bed. This is why so many natural sleep protocols focus on enhancing GABA, not through medication, but through lifestyle and nutrition. Magnesium supports GABA receptor function. Glycine works synergistically with GABA to calm the brain. And certain herbal teas, like passion flower, lemon balm, and chamomile, help boost GABA activity gently and naturally. Which means if you're someone who finds your mind racing at night, or your body just won't settle down no matter how tired you feel, your GABA system may simply be undernourished. So what can you do tonight? Try adding magnesium-rich foods to your dinner, like sauteed spinach, pumpkin seeds, or avocado, or sip on a cup of magnesium glycinate powder mixed with warm water about 30 minutes before bed. This specific form of magnesium crosses the blood-brain barrier and is well tolerated by older adults. You can also enjoy a cup of bone broth in the evening. It's rich in glycine, warm, hydrating, and soothing to the gut, another system closely tied to sleep. Or consider a light collagen-based protein powder blended into herbal tea as a natural glycine boost. And if you want to support GABA directly, look at your light exposure. Blue light at night suppresses melatonin and delays GABA release. Dimming your environment, reading a physical book, or listening to calming music cues the brain that it's time to wind down. If this is helping you rethink sleep from the inside out, hit the like button. It helps more people discover natural healing. You don't need to sedate your brain to sleep. You need to nourish it, because deep rest doesn't come from force. It comes from safety. And when your nervous system feels nourished and supported, sleep becomes the natural next step. Subscribe if you're learning something new. There's more empowering, evidence-based insight ahead. Every night, if your body receives the right signals, something extraordinary happens behind the scene. Your brain goes into a cleaning cycle. Your metabolism resets. Hormones are recalibrated. Muscles repair. And your fat cells, particularly the ones around your belly, start releasing energy. This is not wishful thinking. It's basic human physiology. The process starts with deep sleep, not light dozing, not dreaming, but the slow-wave, non-REM sleep that happens primarily in the first few hours after you fall asleep. This is the most restorative stage of sleep, the time when growth hormone is released, when fat burning kicks in, and when your brain flushes out metabolic waste through a system called the glymphatic system. The glymphatic system is like your brain's nightly cleanup crew. It clears away damaged proteins, oxidized molecules, and the byproducts of daytime thinking and stress. But it only activates during deep sleep, when your brain cells shrink slightly to allow cerebrospinal fluid to wash through more freely. If you don't get deep sleep, this detox doesn't happen efficiently. And over time, the accumulation of waste in the brain is associated with cognitive decline, poor memory, and neuroinflammation. At the same time, your metabolism is recalibrating. This is when your growth hormone peaks. Growth hormone isn't just for kids. In adults, especially those over 50, it plays a critical role in tissue repair, immune modulation, and body composition. But here's the catch: growth hormone can only rise if insulin and cortisol are low. That's the hormonal key most people miss. If you go to bed with high blood sugar, or if your cortisol is elevated from a stressful day, that delicate hormonal window is missed. Growth hormone gets suppressed, fat burning gets blunted, and instead of repair, your body stays in stress mode. What's happening in your body is a constant negotiating. Are we safe enough to heal, or do we need to stay alert and hold on to energy? When you're in deep sleep with insulin and cortisol low, your body gets the green light to start burning visceral fat, the dangerous kind stored around the organs. This is the fat most strongly linked to insulin resistance, cardiovascular disease, and accelerated aging. And while it's the most stubborn to lose through diet alone, it becomes metabolically active during sleep if the hormonal conditions are right. This is why quality of sleep matters even more than quantity. But you could be in bed for 8 or 9 hours. If you're tossing and turning, or your sleep cycles are shallow, you miss these critical windows for healing. So how do we support this natural process? First, make sure your last meal is low in sugar and starch, especially if you're insulin resistant or over age 60. Spiking insulin before bed prevents growth hormone release and keeps your body in storage mode. Instead, focus on protein, healthy fat, and mineral-rich vegetables. Second, give your body a little time to digest before bed. Try to finish eating at least 90 minutes before you lie down. This prevents digestive effort from interfering with sleep depth and gives you a chance to shift into parasympathetic mode. Third, regulate your sleep environment. Cool, dark, and quiet sends a powerful signal to your hypothalamus that it's time for deep rest. A bedroom that's too warm or filled with ambient light, especially from screens or LED alarm clocks, disrupts melatonin and shortens deep sleep phases. And finally, support your brain's repair systems with hydration. Dehydration is a common, hidden cause of poor sleep. Your glymphatic system needs fluid to do its job, so sipping warm herbal tea or water with a pinch of sea salt in the early evening can help restore fluid balance and support detoxification while you rest. If you've been struggling to lose belly fat, waking up feeling unrefreshing, more brain fog than usual, this is where the answer may lie. Not in doing more, but in restoring the conditions your body needs to do what it's already trying to do. If this is helping you reframe sleep as your greatest healer, give this video a like. It helps us bring this wisdom to others who need it. You don't need to manipulate your body to burn fat, which means you need to support its natural timing. And when you do, the repair happens on its own, quietly, powerfully, and without side effects. Which means subscribe if you're seeing the bigger picture, because the final piece ties it all together. What you eat before bed isn't just about nutrition, it's a direct message to your nervous system. It says either, you're safe, it's time to rest, or stay alert, something's off. The texture, temperature, and makeup of your last meal play a far more powerful role in sleep quality than most people realize. It's not just what you eat, it's how it feels to your brain and body. Let's start with texture. Your vagus nerve, the main communication highway between your gut and your brain, responds to how food is chewed, swallowed, and digested. Warm, soft, slow-digesting foods signal parasympathetic activation, the rest and digest branch of your nervous system. This is the opposite of the stress response. It's the biological signal that says, you've nourished yourself, you're safe, you can downshift now. On the other hand, crunchy, cold, or ultra-processed foods, especially if eaten quickly, can actually stimulate sympathetic nerves. That means your nervous system stays active even after you've finished eating. This can lead to poor digestion, delayed melatonin release, and disrupted sleep cycles. Temperature matters too. Warm foods tend to have a sedative effect, especially when paired with healthy fats and calming herbs. Think bone broth, herbal tea, steamed vegetables with olive oil or lightly sauteed greens. Cold foods, like raw salads or smoothies, may be nourishing in nutrients but can be metabolically stimulating in the evening. Your digestive fire naturally slows down at night, and cold foods can force the system to work harder at the exact time it's trying to rest. Then there's nutrient composition. When you eat before bed, your body isn't asking for calories. It's asking for signals. Which means, are you giving it magnesium, which helps calm the brain? Are you giving it tryptophan, the precursor to melatonin? Are you giving it the right fats to stabilize blood sugar through the night? These nutrients aren't optional. They're part of the body's natural nightly routine. One of the most effective combinations you can create is a small serving of protein with a natural fat and a calming herb or mineral. For example, a scoop of warm bone broth collagen with coconut oil and cinnamon, or a poached egg on sauteed spinach, or cottage cheese with a few walnuts and a sprinkle of nutmeg. Each of these sends a message to your nervous system, you're nourished. Now let go. What's happening inside your body is not random. Every bite sends signals, hormonal, neurological, and emotional. And when those signals are aligned with your circadian biology, sleep becomes easy. You don't have to force it. Your body wants to sleep. It just needs permission. This is especially important for older adults whose sleep architecture naturally becomes more fragile over time. The right meal before bed can become your body's strongest ally, not just for sleep, but for cognition, immune health, and emotional resilience. Even simple additions can make a difference. Adding a pinch of Himalayan salt to your evening meal can help stabilize electrolytes and reduce overnight wake-ups. Including herbs like lemon balm or passion flower in your tea can raise GABA levels naturally. These small practices compound. Over time, they create a nervous system that feels supported instead of strained. But perhaps most important is timing. When you eat too close to bed, even healthy food can impair sleep, which means the body ends up digesting when it should be detoxifying. Give yourself at least 60 to 90 minutes between your last bite and lying down. That small window helps shift your physiology into sleep mode, activating parasympathetic tone, initiating melatonin production, and allowing body temperature to drop as it should. If you're learning something new and valuable here, subscribe. This channel is devoted to helping you work with your body, not against it. You don't need more sleep hacks. you need more alignment. When your food, your environment, and your timing all support your biology, your body does exactly what it's built to: dog, repair, restore, and rebuild. And it starts with that quiet moment before bed, when you nourish not just your hunger, but your nervous system, not just your stomach, but your sleep. If we've learned anything today, it's these deep, healing sleep isn't just a nighttime luxury. It's a full body restoration cycle, essential for metabolism, brain function, emotional stability, and healthy aging. And the key to unlocking that cycle lies not in more effort, but in alignment. Nutritional, hormonal, and neurological. Which means, let's briefly bring the puzzle pieces back together. Melatonin, your sleep hormone, is made from tryptophan. But tryptophan can only enter the right metabolic conditions when blood sugar is stable and insulin is gently elevated, usually after a protein-rich snack. Without this, melatonin production stalls, and your sleep may never reach its natural depth. Cortisol, your alertness hormone, is meant to rise in the morning and fade at night. But late-night blue light, erratic eating, and stress all flatten this rhythm, leaving you tired during the day and restless at night. Restoring that curve begins by managing light, food, and caffeine timing. Then there's blood sugar. If it drops too low while you sleep, your body sees it as a threat. Cortisol rises, adrenaline kicks in, and you wake up, often at the same time every night. This isn't random. It's a signal that your body needs better metabolic support before bed. A small, balanced snack can be the missing piece. Magnesium, glycium, and GABA support the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state where deep sleep occurs. These nutrients calm the brain, relax the muscles, and stabilize mood. And yet they're commonly deficient, especially in older adults. Your deepest healing, cognitive repair, fat metabolism, immune resetting, all happens during slow-wave sleep. But that repair is blocked if cortisol is high, insulin is spiking, or melatonin never gets released. In this way, sleep isn't just about rest. It's your body's most powerful regenerative therapy. And then there's your evening meal. The texture, temperature, and nutrient composition. Warm, soft, mineral-rich foods gently signal your nervous system to let go. Cold, processed, or sugar-heavy foods do the opposite. You don't need large quantities. You need the right signals. So here's your natural health challenge. Starting tonight, add one small nutrient snack about 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Choose something warm, rich in protein and fat, and calming to the nervous system. That could be a boiled egg and avocado, a scoop of collagen and chamomile tea, a spoonful of cottage cheese with cinnamon, or a small handful of pumpkin seeds and walnuts. Then, dim your lights. Turn off screens 60 minutes before sleep, and hydrate gently with herbal tea or warm water and sea salt to support your brain's natural detox systems. Do this for just 3 nights. Track how you feel when you wake up. Notice how your energy, digestion, and mood respond. You're not forcing your body into sleep. You're reminding it that it's safe, that it's supported, that it can return to rhythm, which means because your body is designed to heal itself. It already knows what to do when you give it the right tools at the right time. And if you've struggled for years with poor sleep, stubborn belly fat, or restless nights, let this be the beginning of a new rhythm. One built not on hype or hacks, but on deep biological wisdom. If you found this helpful, let us know in the comments. What will you try first? Which means, and don't forget to subscribe and join this journey of natural healing and healthy aging. Your body is ready. You just need to give it what it needs.